Hi, home inspectors. I'm Will Colton with the Inspector Pro Insurance Program. As providers of E&O and GL to home inspectors, one of the calls we hate to receive or the emails that we hate to receive is one where a home inspector has been injured on the job or their client's been injured. Today, I'll be talking about some of the top safety fails that happen during home inspection and focusing on 4 specific danger zones: the roof, the attic, the crawl space, and electrical. Let's first talk about how to avoid client injuries in these areas. The last thing that we want is for your client or any resident of the home to be injured because of or during your home inspection. So, first suggestion, don't let them on the roof, ever. Even if the client pressures you, or we can even tell you stories about how clients brought their own ladder to the home inspection, the client should obviously never go on the roof during your home inspection. Also, don't let them go in the attic with you. As you know, attics are difficult to walk around in. There might be clutter, there might be concealed issues with insulation. Sometimes it's difficult to find the proper framing to walk across. Even the most experienced home inspectors have issues when they're walking through the attic. The same dangers that you face as a home inspector, your client's going to face as well. One of the greatest ones is the temperature in the attic. Maybe you're in a place like Phoenix or South Florida, and that attic, I'm sure, gets upwards of 175 to 200 degrees at times. This can cause major issues like heat stroke or heat exhaustion, maybe dehydration. While you may know this, your clients probably don't or may not know. And these types of things can happen in a very short period of time. One inspector had a client not even enter the attic, but just stand at the entrance. In a period of 20 minutes, that client showed signs of heat exhaustion and dehydration. The inspector and the realtor had to help the client get down from the ladder, sit them down in the kitchen, and then give them water until they came back to their senses. Warn your clients of these dangers and convince them to let you, the professional, handle it. Clients shouldn't follow you into the crawl space either. Crawl spaces are cramped. Many people don't know they're claustrophobic until they're in a space like that. The last thing you want is to be in a crawl space, have a client freak out, and block your own exit. There may also be pests in there, like snakes, skunks, or any other animals. Any one of us would lose our heads in those scenarios and could easily hurt ourselves trying to get out. Don't let your clients in there. It's important to protect your clients that you set very specific boundaries on what they can do and what they can't, where they can go and where they can't. Some will want to follow you into these dangerous areas that I mentioned because they want to see the defects for themselves or ensure that you're doing your job correctly. You need to be firm in your boundaries by saying no. This also applies when you're doing other risky things like electrical testing. Even if they know what they're doing and they brought their own equipment, they should never do that testing, not while you are inspecting and are responsible for the home. Some clients like to walk around and test the outlets for themselves. Inform them of the dangers of this, including electrocution and property damage. Let them know that you are responsible for the home while inspecting, and they shouldn't do anything to put themselves or the home in danger while you are there. But aside from the clients, you also have to protect yourself from these dangerous areas. Inspectors have the chance to be hurt in these same 4 areas. Let's talk about some tips that can keep you safe as well. When inspecting the roof, choose the right ladder. If it isn't tall enough or the correct duty rating, you are much more likely to fall off the ladder than the roof. Be sure to avoid areas where animals or people pass. Make sure your ladder's on solid, flat ground. Be sure to wear the right shoes, preferably without much of a heel and with excellent traction. When climbing the ladder or walking the roof, don't rush. You are much more likely to misstep because you are in a hurry and not watching where to place your feet. While it is always preferable to walk the roof during an inspection, you want to keep your safety as a priority. Don't walk a roof that's dangerous or unsafe. If you see a roof is too steep, you should try observing it just from a ladder, with binoculars, or with a drone. You should be similarly cautious when weather is bad. Ice and snow can make a roof a very dangerous place. Don't be overconfident and put yourself out of commission by climbing a dangerous roof. Now let's talk about the attic. Many attics aren't accessible, and even when they are, there are plenty of ways to get injured or cause property damage. You are allowed to inform your client that an attic was inaccessible and that you couldn't inspect it. Even if you get into the attic, there are many things to consider, but the greatest danger is heat. You shouldn't enter an attic without knowing the signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. When you are in a hot attic, you may start to experience heat rash, which shows up as clusters of red bumps. But this sign is difficult to notice if you're all covered up. So keep an eye out for signs of heat cramps or exhaustion, which includes headaches, muscle spasms, nausea, dizziness, heavy sweating, or irritability. Heat stroke is the worst of it, and you can experience seizures, fainting, or confusion. You should never allow yourself to get to the point of heat stroke. But if you do, call 911 and move yourself to a cool area and get hydrated. The goal is to prevent these symptoms. So watch your water intake and take frequent breaks. Another issue in the attic comes from poor footing. A slip or fall could damage pipes, ventilation, or knock a hole through the ceiling. To ensure that you are able to navigate safely, use a headlamp or get adequate lighting and don't rush. You might be tempted to rush because of the heat or the cramped space, but you are much more likely to make a mistake if you do rush. As always, if the attic is too cluttered or dangerous to inspect, inform your client of the reasons and write it in your report. Let's talk about crawlspace safety. Crawl spaces have similar safety issues to attics in terms of potential for improper wiring or protruding objects injuring you. Unlike an attic or roof, you are much more likely to run into an animal or pest while navigating that tight space. If you don't watch the environment or have a bright light, you could get surprised by a skunk, a snake, a raccoon, or many other things. Whether or not you run into an animal, there is always a chance that you hurt yourself while panicking in a tight space. Some inspectors get scared once they are down in a confined space, and they make unwise decisions while trying to get out, leading them to cut or hurt themselves. You should wear protective equipment while down there. Yes, that includes coveralls, but it also means that you should consider wearing a mask to protect you from toxins created by various environmental hazards under the house. These include mold, asbestos insulation, radon, animal waste, gas, and many more. If you don't have the ability to enter the crawl space, consider using a crawlbot to document the area. Otherwise, mention any limitations in your report. Here's a scary one: electrical safety. First, for electrical safety, consider getting proper and extensive training. Most home inspector training courses teach you signs that show an electrical system is compromised. These signs include scorch marks, rust from water intrusion, missing or open breakers, DIY wiring, uninsulated wires. These are things you need to watch out for. You can also protect yourself from electrical exposure by dressing appropriately, with insulated gloves, rubber-soled shoes, and the like. Even if a minor shock wouldn't kill you, it can make you draw back. Maybe you'd fall off the ladder or cut yourself on something. Thankfully, some insurance has been designed to protect you in these cases. We'll talk about both workers' comp and general liability. General liability is designed to protect the third party. That means your clients can be protected and covered by your general liability, but it won't cover your own bodily injury or personal injury. That's where workers' comp comes into place. Workers' comp is designed to protect you and your employees from job-related injury or disease. Carrying both these coverages is important because you can protect everybody in these situations. If you'd like to find out more about these coverages, check out the links down in the description. Also, remember to subscribe and stay safe, inspectors.